now. Okay, and I will get started. So I do want to start off today and say thank you for joining me on this live webinar session to learn more about Green Impact Lite. I'm going to start the session today by recognising the traditional custodians on the lands on which we all respectively meet from. So recognising that you're joining in from all over Australia and possibly New Zealand. I haven't checked to see if I've got any Kiwis on the call today. So I join you myself from the lands of the Wurundjeri people, and I pay my respects to elders both past, present of the Kulin Nation. The Kulin Nation, of course, representing the alliance of the 5 language groups who are the traditional custodians of the lands that cover most of the area of Melbourne and central Victoria. So we acknowledge all elders past, present and emerging and their ancestral spirits with gratitude and respect. So we're here today to talk about Green Impact and Green Impact Lite, which is a new offering that ACTS is providing as more of an entry level to the full version of the Green Impact program. So in order to cover what Green Impact Lite is today, I do need to do a bit of an introduction to the full version of the program because I don't make any assumptions on whether you're completely across what Green Impact offers and what the Lite version of the program has to offer as an alternative or as a more entry-level opportunity for organisations. So I will be covering a bit of what Green Impact is, if that's hopefully that's of interest. If not, we will certainly be getting into the specifics of what Green Impact Lite is as well. So if at any point you have a question, I will keep an eye on the question Q&A box as we're going through, or you can raise your hand if you want to have a chat. I do apologise, it is just me on the webinar today, so it's going to be quite a lot of me talking. So feel free to jump in if you do have a question and I will answer it for you. Now I do have a bit of a presentation which I'm just going to bring up now. And my apologies, I just recall I didn't actually introduce myself. So in case you don't know, my name is Rhiannon Boyd and I'm the General Manager for ACTS. So one of the main roles I have within ACTS is to obviously do the day-to-day operations of our organisation. And a big part of that has been in supporting the rollout of Green Impact across Australasia. So just in case you're not aware, because we do have some registrations from non-members joining in the webinar today. So ACTS is a not-for-profit association that aims to inspire, promote and support sustainability within our member organisations. So we do really look at a holistic approach to sustainability and we do everything we can to support our organisations that are on that sustainability journey, and a big part of that is the network that we have and we support, and also the partnerships that we bring together across sustainability educators, practitioners, change makers. So we really try to create a community of positive engagement, capacity building and impact. So we are traditionally in the higher and further education sector, although we are sort of broadening our scope to be supporting any type of organisation that is doing this sustainability work. But predominantly our membership is made up of universities and other further education providers, and we do currently have 86% of all universities in Australia and New Zealand as members, with 100% of the institutions in New Zealand currently members. So to give a little bit of information around Green Impact itself, we are the Australasian delivery partner for the Green Impact program, but the program itself was developed and founded by the National Union of Students in the UK quite some time ago. It's been about 13 years since this program was originally piloted, and we'll talk a little bit more about the evolution that it's undergone in that time. So National Union of Students created the program. They then went through a bit of a organisational structural change. I think wasn't last year, was the year before. COVID's kind of like wiped out an entire year off my memory. So NUS, National Union of Students, the sustainability arm did break off and formed its own separate organisation, which is called Students Organising for Sustainability, but still very much connected to the original NUS. So you will see their names, or hear me reference them sort of interchangeably. NUS, SOS, they are the same organisation, and they continue to be the owners of the Green Impact program, and we work very closely with them as a delivery partner for our region. But ACTS is the only delivery partner for Green Impact across Australia and New Zealand. So anybody that is running the program does do that with our support. So to talk about the evolution of the program itself, as I said, Green Impact was created some time ago by the National Union of Students. It was originally a student engagement program. It started back in 2006 when a student by the name of Anna Darcy at the University of Northumbria was getting really frustrated with how many pizza boxes she was seeing getting thrown out. And initially the idea of Green Impact was born by her. So she took that to the National Union of Students and they formed the program. Initially, it was called the Sound Impact Awards back then. So quite quickly, the program took a shift from being a student engagement program to being a staff engagement program, primarily because it was recognised that the changes that we're asking people to do as part of this program are much more easily done by staff on campus because they have those ownership over those places. They have the offices, the labs, the research areas. They have the ability to implement a lot of changes on campus with a lot more ease than students do. So very quickly, the focus did shift to staff engagement in this area. As the program continued to expand with a little bit of funding from the UK government, more universities got involved with the program and they're able to get up to almost 20 institutions running Green Impact, engaging almost 20,000 staff and students. This brings us up to about 2011 when NUS actually started to expand the program off campus. The beauty of Green Impact is that it is an incredibly flexible framework. So basically it can be run in any organisation where you have people working together that want to try and create a better future and have those sustainability aims and goals. So the NHS Trust is sort of where this really took off in the UK, so getting hospitals and the healthcare sector really involved in the program. But today in the UK, you can find Green Impact being run in all types of organisations, still a very strong focus in the healthcare sector. They've got a lot of GPs, clinics that run at dentistry clinics. You can get it in museums, fire stations, local government organisations, all sorts of wonderful places. You'll see Green Impact in the UK. In Australia, we still only have the program running in universities, but that's not to say we're very interested in expanding it, and any organisation that wants to take it on, we're here and open to make the program available to. So how we became the delivery partner for this program was we've already had a really good relationship with NUS, lots of interest in bringing the program over to Australasia, but it was just a matter of the timing being right in regards to us being able to support the program and having the resources to do that. ACTS itself is a very small organisation. We do have limited resources, so we can only take on so much at a time. Basically what happened is University of Melbourne really wanted Green Impact and kind of got a bit impatient with ACTS trying to get ourselves together to be able to run it. So they ran a pilot in 2017 directly supported by the UK team. And it was a really successful pilot, and based off that we were able to say, okay, now is the time to bring Green Impact over here. We have capacity to launch it. So over the last 3 years, we've seen steady growth, even with the COVID implications that we've had in the last 12 months of the program. We were meant to run the program in 15 organisations last year. We did lose a few because of COVID impacts, and we're looking at about 12 at the moment, confirmed for this year, and a couple of others which may come on board in the next few months or so. I think a lot of people are also really interested to see what Green Impact Lite has to offer as an alternative to doing the full program. So we'll see how that all pans out, especially after we get through the session today. So what is Green Impact? It is ultimately a behaviour change and engagement program. So it encourages people to make small yet tangible actions on socioeconomic and environmental issues in the workplace and across communities. So for the first part, I am going to be talking about the broader Green Impact program and what it does. So basically how it works is we create a toolkit of actions specific to your organization in the full program. And then once we launch that program, we encourage your staff to form teams and collectively work through that toolkit of actions throughout the year. So the full program does work on a 12-month cycle, can be 10, but usually a 12-month cycle. And through that, we have a whole range of milestones that we need to achieve in order for the program to run successfully. And I will go through those in a couple of slides. But the basic format is staff members form teams, and in those teams, they work through a toolkit of actions that will guide them on how to make sustainability changes and how to encourage positive behaviour change, particularly in the workplace. We have seen some adaptation, obviously, recently to support this work being undertaken in working from home environments. But now we're definitely seeing the transition of, getting back into that working on campus or working on site, along with a mixture of supporting those that are still working from home. But we're finding that there's probably a combination approach, like most people are doing some work at home and some on site in their office or wherever they may be based. So once people have been working through these actions, there's a period where we submit the toolkit and they're sort of done for the year, and then we go into the monitoring and evaluation phase. And the first part of that is doing an audit. So in the full version of the program, the audits are done by, we recruit students from your organisation, we train them up, and your students do the auditing process. So it's a bit of a scary word. Most people freak out when we say that they're going to audit them, but it is actually a really fun part of the program. Once everybody sort of gets over the initial fear of being audited, students love it, and the teams really enjoy the opportunity to showcase the work that they've done and give their feedback on the program. And we use that really importantly to sort of improve the program. Green Impact is based on a continuous improvement model. So we get feedback every year, and we use that to input into the next year's program and to change the toolkit. So it's different every year. Once we've gone through the audit phase, then we have the reward and recognition. So within the program structure, teams work to generate their own awards. So most programs work on a bronze, silver and gold structure. So teams are aiming to get a bronze award or a silver award or a gold award. The idea is that they build on their award level as they progress through the program. So you're not likely to see all of your teams getting gold in the first year. They should build on that as they go through it. And then we also have a number of other awards that we can build into the program to recognise excellence and innovation as it comes through from those champions and people that really get on board with this and take it to the next level. So to give a idea of who's running Green Impact globally at the moment, so since its inception in 2006, we've had thousands of organisations that have participated in the program, and collectively they have almost completed 500,000 sustainability actions. So really decent size of impact when you look at the overall outputs from this program. At the moment, we have a lot of organisations still very much in the UK, but you can see more organisations running this program off campus than on campus in the UK. So really established there in a broad spectrum of organisations. With us, we're looking at about 12 universities currently, although we are having some conversations around some of our first non-campus organisations potentially coming on board this year, which is really exciting for us. A couple of universities running Green Impact across Europe through the Students Organising for Sustainability International branch. And there's also a Canadian uni running it currently. They were looking to get Green Impact into North America sort of pre-COVID, but that's kind of, unfortunately, that's been a big shake-up and there's a lot going on in North America at the moment, so it has taken a back seat. So we'll see if we can get the program happening over there in the future. Just a couple of slides to give you some context as to the overall impact that we've had with the program. So these are some of the figures across the whole global program. So all the organisations are participating, over 1,000 individual organisations. collectively completing almost 500,000 sustainability actions. And over half of those are the direct result of Green Impact. We do some tracking in the toolkit to find out whether people might already be doing elements of good work. So it's an opportunity to sort of find out what's already happening in your organisation and then provide support for them to build on that and do a little bit more. Really big staff reach, lots of individual teams, so thousands of teams completing their toolkits. And we've also trained over 6,000 students as either auditors, or there are other elements where we can bring students on board to get involved with the program where they do get some training and experience through that. In terms of more regionally, what we've accomplished with Green Impact in the Australasian region since we've been running this program, overall we've had 15 universities taking part over that 3-year period, and we've almost completed 20,000 sustainability actions. So you can see there we've had some, we did have a bit of a downturn last year, obviously with the number of actions being completed, but we transitioned our toolkits really rapidly. Sort of some of our programs had launched pre-COVID lockdowns, and some of them launched after. So we were expecting there to be quite a big downturn last year, but in truth be told, it was not as bad as I was predicting it to be at the beginning of the year. We've trained over 500 students locally as well to be auditors and to get involved with the program, and the students really love it. So it's always fantastic to get them involved wherever we can. So Green Impact covers all areas of sustainability. We do take a very holistic approach when we look at sustainability, and more we're being guided by the UN Sustainable Development Goals as when we look at the different themes that we cover as part of toolkit actions. So we will still cover your traditional energy, water and waste efficiency type actions, but we also see a strong movement into social justice, diversity, inclusion, those sorts of things that we really do think about now when we talk about sustainability and what a sustainable organisation looks like. So in the full version of the Green Impact program, this is what the 12-month cycle looks like. So this is where most of our programs are at now in this toolkit development and planning phase. So we do spend a good couple of months at the beginning of the year mapping out your program. What are your goals? What are you hoping to get out of it for the given year? And making sure that we develop a toolkit that reflects those goals and those aims for Green Impact. So this is the biggest differentiation point between Green Impact and Green Impact Lite. So we'll just keep that in mind for now, but I will come back to that when I'm talking about the differences between the two versions. So in the full version, you get a fully bespoke program that is customized to your organisation. So we spend a bit of time doing that. When that's ready, we then launch your program and we move into the team recruitment phase. And we do openly recruit people from launch date right up until when we close your toolkits off. And that period in between, usually, we say no less than 3 months. 6 months is a good time, and we can sort of do some variations in between, but we really map that active part of the program out as part of the schedule and planning we do at the beginning of the year. But ongoing recruitment is really important, because what we find happens is teams will start at the beginning. A big part of the work that they do will be engaging with others and having these conversations around sustainability and sustainability themes, and you find that word spreads. So new teams form, more people get involved, and your impact gets greater and greater as you progress through the program. While your toolkit is open, the ACTS team provides ongoing support to make sure that you're on track. We have resources, we have templates, we have all sorts of support mechanisms to really make sure that you're getting the most out of the engagement that you can with Green Impact. It's not to say we do everything for you. You do need to resource Green Impact at the organisational level. I always get asked what that looks like. There's no right or wrong answer. I've seen Green Impact supported by one person 1 day a week. And that's sort of the minimum for the full version of the program, the minimum that we think it requires from your end in terms of resourcing to support and keep the program on track. Do all of the communications that's involved, because we don't communicate directly with your participants. We just support you and give you guidance on how to do that in the best way possible. So sort of, we say the minimum, that one person 1 day a week, but how much you put into the program or how much you get out of the program really does reflect on how much you put into it. So I have seen it being run really successfully by full-time engagement coordinators at the university, and that's where we see the really big outcome results coming from, those ones that really do have the time to commit to growing the program and making sure that participants feel connected and well supported. So coming back to the toolkit cycle, the program cycle, we do have a deadline where everybody needs to get everything into their toolkits, mark all their actions as done. There is a process where they can upload evidence and put comments against the work that they've done, which helps us when we get to the audit phase. As I said, we then recruit students, we train them up, we conduct the audits, and that verifies all the results of the program and allows us to finalise what all the awards will be for that year. Organisations then organise their own awards event. What the awards event looks like is really up to you. We can give, we give guidance on what you could do, but it could be really low key. Obviously, we had a lot of virtual events last year, which was a first for Green Impact, but they went really well. Pre-COVID, it could be anything from a morning tea and just handing out awards and very low key, right through to we've seen Green Impact Awards events where the VCs, they're presenting awards and fully emceed and quite an extravagant output. There's no right or wrong answer as to what your awards event looks like. It's all what you've got capacity and what you're able to do. Once we're done with that, then we go into feedback and evaluation. So we use all the feedback that we have got firsthand from your teams as part of the audit process. We also have end of program surveys that we send out to try and get as much information as we can. We align all of that with the direction that you are taking in terms of your strategic aims and goals and what you want out of the program. And then we feed that into improving for next year, and the program continues on. So many of our Green Impact institutions that we've been supporting have been with us since the first year and have been going through this process year after year. So we've seen the programs evolve quite a bit. So that's the full version of Green Impact. I'll just check to see if I've got any questions, or don't think. Liz, I think RMIT is an ACTS member, if that's what you're asking. Yes, definitely. So Green Impact Lite, this is something that we initially thought of in response to a lot of organisations being interested in Green Impact, but potentially not having the resources to run the full version of the program, whether that's financially, because there is a cost, of course, with the subscription to Green Impact, or the staff resources to support the program through that 12-month cycle. So we wanted to have a sort of lighter touch version of the program that could either be entry level to see if Green Impact is actually going to work at your organisation before potentially committing to the full version of the program, or even just keeping it at that high level version that we're hoping to get with Green Impact Lite. So essentially it is still based on the same principles and frameworks of the full version of the program. It's still a behaviour change and engagement program, still encouraging people to undertake tangible actions across those key sustainability themes in the workplace and across their communities. Some of the biggest points of difference are that rather than a bespoke toolkit for your program, where we then push out and try and get as many different teams involved in your individual toolkit, in Green Impact Lite, your organisation will work as a whole. So you essentially become a whole team working together through those toolkit actions. So that's a pretty big point of difference between the full version of the program. The other one is that we won't have a bespoke toolkit. So we won't do those months of planning to begin with your organisation specifically. What we will do is we will use our expertise of sustainability in the sector and with our partners to be able to create a sector specific toolkit. So we haven't got these toolkits ready. Basically, we will create them as we recruit organisations into the Green Impact Lite program. But we do have a number of templates ready to go for sectors that we've suspect will be interested or have already registered some interest with us beforehand. So what will happen if you become a Green Impact Lite member? You will get access to this sector specific toolkit, which will have a range of actions that you will collectively work with as an organisational team. Now, we suspect that the way that this will work is that there'll still be a core group of people that will sort of be the leadership team for your organisation, and they'll be the one that's sort of driving activity and momentum and recruiting other people to get involved. There will still be the monitoring and feedback process that is in the full version of the program. The main point of difference around audits is that we won't be recruiting students from your organisation if you are a learning institution. If you're not a learning institution, we use our students from other programs to do the audits anyway. But we will be using the students that we have already trained up in other programs to do an audit for you at the end of your program. So that's another point of difference. There will still be awards. Obviously, there'll be competition between different organisations competing in the same or working through the same toolkit that ACTS will provide. And then there'll also be some opportunities for you to recognise excellence and innovation within your own team working through your toolkit at your organisation. So in terms of the program cycle and what that looks like, so the main point is we take out that toolkit development and planning phase because the light version is very structured. We'll have a pre-prepared toolkit ready. Although I have to say, for anybody that's interested as sort of the first pilot organisations of Green Impact Lite, you will have the opportunity to give us some feedback into what you'd like to see in your toolkit because we are in that development phase now. So one of the bonuses of coming on board early. But basically there will be a start date and an end date with the Green Impact Lite programs. So everybody that's working through your sector toolkit will be invited to start and end at the same time. We'll keep them open for around 3 to 4 months. And within that period, we'll give you resources and templates to be able to communicate with your staff, your employees, your students, if you want to get them involved, to get working through the toolkit actions. We will have a single audit for your organisation. As I said, we'll bring in our trained student auditors to do that. And then we will have an announcement of the awards. If you want to have your own organisational awards event, we'll certainly help you to give you guidance on what that might look like. But it's not a mandatory part because we will sort of be announcing the awards, the winners and the results for the sector-specific toolkits that we have. There, of course, will still be a feedback and evaluation phase for the participants that took part, both for your participants and at the organisational level as well. And then we'll take that on board to when we relaunch them again in the following year. So that is how we're thinking that Lite will work as opposed to the full version of the program. Just to put some side-by-side comparison there to put things into context. Sorry, I keep moving my question box out of the way if it's facing where my mouse is going. So in full, you have a fully bespoke toolkit that we work with you to develop for your organisation, whereas in Lite, you will get access to a sector-specific toolkit. So in full, you have your toolkit and then you encourage your participants to form teams and work through that collectively. Whereas in Lite, your organisation is a team and you will be working through the same toolkit as other similar organisations. So it might be universities or it might be other high schools or it might be other local governments or it might be other, we've got some interest from healthcare providers. There's a few others there, there's a few private like business organisations that have expressed interest. So we will group you with similar organisations, and you will work through the same toolkit and the same timeline, and there'll be a bit of competition there between other organisations to see who can get through the most toolkit actions, and also you'll earn your own awards based on what you've managed to achieve in the given program cycle. So in full, there's a lot more ability to customize the program to suit your organizational structure and your sustainability goals and outcomes. Whereas in light version, you do that collective team, and we don't do any customization specifically for you. In the full version, you have an unlimited number of teams and individual participants, where in light you have one team, but there is an unlimited number of participants that you can have registered in that team. In both programs, we give you full technical support on the toolkit. In both programs, there will be roundtable meetings where you will get the opportunity to connect with other leads. So with the full version programs, we have leads roundtables. We'll do the same thing for Lite. In both, you will have access to a suite of resources that we provide you with templates and plans and things that you can adapt to support communication and engagement. In both, you'll get access to our new Facebook group, which we've just started, which is very much just to get people connected and sharing what they're doing in the program. We do end of program reports for both programs, but it'll be a full report for the full program, and we'll have a light version for Lite. And then the other points of difference with the full version is a dedicated support package. So we do give a lot of support to our full Green Impact institutions through each of those program milestones. You get the training and recruitment of your student auditors in the full version. And a new offering that we have with ACTS this year is Acts of Connection. So this program started last year as a response to COVID, which we developed this series of events to support our Green Impact institutions to actually have some of the content around sustainability that was delivered by our team. So this is the more practical, like how to do sustainability in everyday scenarios. So really basic learning opportunities around sustainability themes, covering sort of some introductory topics, how to webinars, really fun learning opportunities. So we sort of did this as a support opportunity last year in response to COVID, and it was really successful, and we had such excellent feedback from it that it's now a standalone offering that we provide through ACTS. So for our full Green Impact organisations, Acts of Connection will remain an added bonus, no extra cost. It's not included in the light version, and it is also a standalone opportunity. So organisations can subscribe to Acts of Connection if they're not involved in any other ACTS program, or even if they're not ACTS members. So I think I've got a couple of things in here. The Acts of Connection will provide up to 30 sustainability events throughout the year. So they'll be kicking off soon in March and running through to October, which is almost a weekly event during that period. What they will look like, it could be webinars, so, information-based webinars. We're starting off one with an introduction to climate change. This is the feedback we were getting from a lot of our sustainability leads that were running Green Impact, is that people were really wanting more information on some of these sustainability themes and what they were and why they mattered. So that's where this idea came from. We're actually delivering that content now. So Acts of Connection will provide an opportunity to increase knowledge and awareness on sustainability issues and help create and connect the community that we have through Green Impact and sustainability more broadly. So it will be engagement events, activities, competitions, networking events. Last year we did speed dating as one of them. We do how-to webinars on, I do my plant series, which is very popular, and I'm always getting questions on my plants, so I turned that into a series. And I can tell you more about Acts of Connection if you want to learn. But everybody that was involved last year really loved it, and we're really excited to see what we do with that this year. So just wrapping up before I get to any questions. So this is coming back to Green Impact itself. Now this is I think these points stand true for both the full version of the program and the light version. Why Green Impact can be a benefit to your organisation. It is a tried and tested off-the-shelf program. The program itself is award-winning. It won the UNESCO Japan Prize for Sustainable Development. It was one of, I think, only 3 laureates to have that award. So globally recognised program, covers the whole sustainability agenda. It really does promote team building and capacity, can help raise the profile of sustainability internally within your organisation. There are some of those tangible benefits such as reduced energy waste and water, meeting your own sustainability targets. A really important one, I think, reduces silo working and gives advocates a tangible role. They can be really great opportunities if you've already got those champions and people on campus that want to do something. This gives them a framework to work to, and you can connect people that may be not located near each other or otherwise wouldn't have had an opportunity to connect. We do map our toolkits against the Sdgs, which is a new feature that we started doing last year. So we identify each activity and each action and link that to any of the relevant goals, just to raise awareness of what the goals and what the real life things that you can do can contribute to them are. And a few other things that I won't list the whole lot here, but they're there for your reference as well. So for anyone that hasn't seen the Green Impact Toolkit, this is what the forward-facing website looks like. I'm happy to give you access to sort of a demo version that we have so you can go in and see what the user interface is. Hosting the toolkit is obviously just one element of the program, but we provide all of this for you on an external website. Pretty basic to get people registered to it. There's just a one-time registration form that they need to complete, and then they'll have access to their team's toolkit through this platform. So that is it in a nutshell. I've managed to talk for about 40 minutes straight. So thank you for your patience and thank you for listening. Hopefully it's given you a bit of insight into both the Green Impact program, if you weren't familiar with it, and how Lite will differentiate from the full version. So I'm just looking at your questions now. Please feel free to type your questions. I'll answer any that come through. 12 organisations signed up for Green Impact Lite this year. No, Crystal, that's the full version of the program that we've got at the moment. We are only basically opening Green Impact Lite for expressions of interest now. We have sent some communications out saying that it's coming. But basically, in order for us to get it off the ground, we need some people to say, yes, we're interested in it so that we can develop those sector-specific toolkits. Ideally, we'll have at least more than one sector organisation so that we can get that particular toolkit off the ground. Ideally, 2. The more the better. We're thinking we'll probably have up to 10 organisations in a single toolkit. So at the moment, we've got nobody subscribed to Lite. Today was sort of the first point of information to get this opportunity out there. And I will be making the video that we've recorded today available to hopefully get a bit more interest out there. Can you talk about the URL for each participating institution? Crystal, can you give me a little bit more context for that? I'm not 100% sure what you're asking there. I'm just reading through, what does Green Impact Lite report also measure against the SDGs? Yes, so what we do is each individual action within the toolkit, we will map it against any relevant SDGs. So in the end of program reporting, what we do is we give 2 data sets. One is the potential of your toolkit based on the SDG mapping, and one is the actual. So we look at if you did every single action in your toolkit, what would that relate to in terms of the goals that your work was relating to, and then the actual, so which actions did you complete, and how that translates on within that data. So yes, it's in both. Yes, so with Green Impact Lite URL, it will, so all of the organisations participating as a group will access the same toolkit. So you won't get your own individual URL like the full version of the program. It will be, you know, / Universities Lite or whatever we name that. And then when you register to that toolkit, you will register as a team, as an organisation. So that's a big point of difference between full version and the Lite version. Hopefully that clarifies that question. Cost, there's no straight answer for that because we do have a few variables that we take into consideration when we quote for the programs. But I can give you a rough indication. Assuming ACTS membership, because we do discount all of our programs based on whether you're a current ACTS member or not. So if you're a current ACTS member for a first year full version of the Green Impact program, the cost is about $7,000. With the full version, the cost does go down slightly after the first year because we put a bit more time into doing that initial toolkit development and planning than we do in subsequent years. So about $7,000 for the full version for an ACTS member. The equivalent for an ACTS member with a light version would be about $2,000. So much more cost effective, but you don't get the full spectrum support package that you get with the full version. And obviously the ability to customize isn't there. So that's what we were hoping to make with this program, making it more accessible, more affordable, and just seeing how it goes. Really, this is the first time that anything like this has been run within Green Impact, and that's not just in Australasia. The UK doesn't really do something similar to this, so they're watching to see how we go with it, and I'm hoping that we do get some interest and can get it off the ground. Okay, I don't see any other questions. Let me just quickly, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I did have my email up on the screen. I can pop it in if you don't, if you want to contact me to ask more or have a one-on-one chat around either version of the program and how it could potentially work for your organisation, please do get in contact with me. I said we do have a very strong presence in the further and higher education sector, but Green Impact is not exclusive. We will support the program basically with any organisation that wants to get involved. So if you are joining today or listening to the recording as a non-campus organisation, please get in contact with us if you're interested, because we're really excited to see how we can expand the program outside of the education sector, sorry, the tertiary education sector. And yeah, so feel free to email me or check out the Green Impact website. We're just developing the Green Impact Lite pages at the moment, so there'll be a bit more content there shortly, including the comparison table that I showed you in the slide deck today. So I think that's it from me. I'm going to stop talking unless there are any final questions that come through. And yeah, I hope to hear from you soon to talk about how we could potentially get Green Impact happening in your organisations. So enjoy the rest of your afternoons and we'll talk soon. Bye everyone.